Well, rumors linking Arsenal to different strikers in the January transfer window are obviously escalating, and this time around, it's Victor Osimhen onto the list that many believe is obviously going to cross side from Napoli and play for the side of Mikel Arteta. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. Hope you guys are really having a fantastic evening. It's a Wednesday and we are just 2 days away from the return of the Premier League. Obviously, we are having huge games to obviously be played. We are having huge games to be played on the weekend. There is the Merseyside derby, Liverpool versus Everton. There is a London derby, Chelsea hosting Arsenal. Man City is playing Brighton, and those are the big games that are obviously going to take shape onto this Saturday. And Man United is taking on Sheffield. It's not as big as the other three I've gone hate to first mention, because when you look at the Merseyside derby between Liverpool and Everton, it's really a derby and it's a rival that has been here for a very, very long time. Arsenal Chelsea, it's a London derby, and it looks like Chelsea are going to hate to get fired up, and Arsenal too are really ready to obviously extend their lead, to obviously be on top of the table. And Man City versus Brighton, you know what Brighton has gonna hate to be when it's playing these huge teams. Obviously gonna hate to cause havoc to many the previous season and this season in a queue. Now, we thank God for the gift of life. Much like, button, comment, and share. We are here to discuss Victor Osimhen to Arsenal. Very many sources coming in through and linking him to Arsenal, and the reason have been given to us. And me as Rokani David, I'm here ready to really get you know what my thoughts are about this beautiful game of football. Now, let's start it off with Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen is really one of those players that has been linked to Arsenal, and the Football London has gone ahead and told us the following. Sorry about that. They've told us that Arsenal and Victor Osimhen looks set to be a story intertwined for the next few months at the very least, with their circumstances lining up to create a transfer buzz. Arsenal are on hunt of another striker, if recent reports are to be believed, with the January transfer window now on the horizon. That is it. Then they added and said, while Jesus and Edin Ketia are the two current choices for the center forward role, there has been plenty of discussion surrounding a clinical focal point to work from. Tony is one player who has been linked, as he looks set to leave the club in the January transfer window, and so too was Watkins. Now, one thing we need to obviously understand about these transfers is simple, that Arsenal is really one of those that have gone ahead to find themselves in a position of being linked to very many strikers. And do you know why it's like this? Because pundits around the English Premier League and all over the world believe that a team can thrive on a number 9. Now, I don't believe in certain narratives, though they've been valid for so long, but they are not obviously really great. Let me give you an example. Arsenal had Thierry Henry, and Thierry Henry was played as a left forward, and for him to be invited as a number 9, he obviously had to really score very many goals as a wide number 9 for the club of Arsenal. Cristiano Ronaldo, he used to score very many goals for Man United when he was really a wing or a wide player. And in modern football, wide forwards have gone ahead to take on the mantle of really scoring huge number of goals. And when you look at Arsenal, I think getting in a center forward like Victor Osimhen is not a solution. I think the solution is simple. How do you see Bukayo Saka raise from the number of goals he scored last season? Were they 14 to 20 in the league, I mean? Then Martinelli scoring more 4 to make it 20. Odegaard scoring more 5 to make it 20. Jesus scoring more 9 to make it 20 for the club of Arsenal. I think that's the most vivid way that Arsenal should go, and I believe that's the route they should take. I don't ridicule everyone who thinks that Arsenal are leaking in number 9, but Man City played 2 seasons without Kun Aguero, and however much he was available, they played him off the bench, and they went ahead to win the Premier League. In the Champions League finale, right? Man City never needed the services of Haaland. It was Rodri who went ahead and scored the winning goal. So Let no one lie to you that the problem of Arsenal is the number 9. No, that is it. Because if Jesus had not gone ahead to get injured for 3 months, give me a reason as to whether he wouldn't have gone ahead to score 20 goals in the Premier League. Because everyone says Arsenal needs a striker who can come in through and really put in 20 goals. Now, when you look at Jesus, Gabriel last season, into the league, he played he played 26 games. He scored 11 goals and put up 6 assists, right? When you look at Ivan Toney, he scored, I think, 20 goals. And let me be exact. Ivan Toney, let me be exact about him. Ivan Toney last season went ahead to play 33 games. He played 11 games more than Gabriel Jesus. He scored 20 goals and 4 assists. Now, when you look at Ivan Toney, he only scored 9 goals more than him, and Jesus had more assists, meaning that Jesus had 17 goal involvements and Ivan Toney had 24. The difference is 7. But remember, Jesus was out for 3 months. If he wasn't out for 3 months, he would have gone ahead to obviously score more, though most people don't believe that he can even score 20 goals a season, especially in the league. But the games that he missed were really many. 12 games in a season. 12 games that Jesus went ahead to miss in a season, And in those 12 games, we saw to it that Marcus Rashford had played almost half of the season and had even scored very many goals. But when we returned from the World Cup, he hit the ground running and took his tally to 30. And it's evident that people score more goals in the second half of the season than the start of the season. You get? So, Jesus being matched out of that is really the reason as why he never scored 20 goals. And I know when he scores 20 goals this season, people are going to obviously soothe their mouths because they would have gone ahead to obviously be beaten on their concept. I know Jesus can score 20 goals in the Premier League. He can score 20. And even this season, he has gone ahead to score, I think, 2 in the Champions League. And he has 1 in the Premier League. And I think more is yet to come for him to obviously put in a shift. Now, when you compare him to Victor Osimhen, I believe Victor Osimhen is a very good striker. But at Arsenal, as I told you, first things first. No reason to spend close to £100 million on Victor Osimhen when you are having a position that is really lacking depth, and that is the position of Bukayo Saka. Let Arsenal first get in a replacement of Bukayo Saka. Then in the summer transfer window, if Arsenal goes in for Victor Osimhen, it will be clear that there is a reason as to why they are going in for a player, because that player will obviously come in through and obviously compete with the likes of Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus. Because in elite football, you need 3 center forwards in your squad, and Arteta has Jesus, he has Gabriel Jesus. You can also add Trossard, who can take Arsenal throughout. And Victor Osimhen coming in through, it's a disorganization into the team because he's obviously going to come in through and demand more playing time. And if at all you're having players like him who are demanding for more playing time, then what are you going to do for the likes of Martinelli? Because if you want Osimhen to start, that means you have to either sacrifice Jesus to be played as a left forward. Remember, he dislikes playing as a left or right forward. He wants to play as a center forward. That's why he left Man City. Pep Guardiola wanted him to stay, but he told him, I'm only staying if at all you really make me your number 9. But he had already gone ahead to get in Erling Haaland to do the job. So that's the reason as to why things went in like that, as you saw them happening. Now, there is another story coming in from Ekram Konar that I've not even gone ahead to see to it that it makes sense to me, about him saying that Arsenal striker Gabriel Jesus could be used as part of a swap deal with Napoli for Victor Osimhen. That is it. Now, talking of a swap deal, it's really one of those things that you really believe that are not really actual and cannot happen. I think for Arsenal it obviously hard to get rid of Gabriel Jesus. He's a player who transformed the team. He's a leader and he offers a lot off the pitch. He has gone ahead to elevate very many players at the club of Arsenal, the mentality, and them focusing on winning a trophy last season. Because before he came in through, Arsenal were really looking at going to the Champions League, getting the 4th slot of the league. But he came out and told them that we can obviously aim higher and bigger and obviously turn out to be champions. And that's what the narrative changed. And the coming in of Zinchenko went ahead to add more beef to that. And it's so to it that Arsenal would have gone ahead to obviously get it happen. So, to my understanding, this cannot happen. Arsenal cannot swap Gabriel Jesus for Victor Osimhen. That is out. They cannot. I tell you, they cannot, because Jesus offers more than Victor Osimhen. People look at certain players and don't know their importance at the club. Very many Arsenal players were asking themselves, why did Arteta have to plead for Granit Xhaka to start the club of Arsenal? Now, the season he stayed, you all saw the reason as to why they wanted him to stay, and you all agreed with Mikel Arteta at the end of the season that, all right, Xhaka was a player that was so much pivotal into the Arsenal season. Not so? Now, for Jesus, he offers more than Victor Osimhen. Can I give you an example of what he offers? One, his dynamism or flexibility on the pitch. He can play as a left forward, he can play as a right forward, he can lead the line. For Osimhen, he only leads the line. That's what you get from him, Secondly, he's a leader, and I've not heard Osimhen having any leadership qualities. Secondly, Osimhen is coming in a team that is not built 100% on him. And Jesus came into a team that was 100% built on Bukayo Saka, and it went ahead to obviously make his name sound there. He made his impose on the team of Arsenal, and everyone knows how important this player is for this club of Arsenal. So it really shows you exactly that this guy is obviously different. And people are looking at goals, but he offers more than goals. That is it. And I pray to it that he really plays close to 30 games this season in the league and see whether he can't score 20 goals. I believe he's going to score more goals than he scored last season, because he has 2 in the Champions League, 1 in the Premier League, and more games are yet to come for him to obviously thrive. So I don't see any swap deal of Victor Osimhen for Gabriel Jesus, because that is really not a topic to obviously talk about. And even David Austin came out in the Q&A happening at the Athletic when they asked him about Victor Osimhen to Arsenal. He had the following to say, that in terms of price and profile, I don't see Arsenal going for Victor Osimhen. I suspect he's on their list like he will be for the other top sides. The pool of quality strikers is so small at the present that any big club looking to sign one are likely to be studying the same name. So, Victor Osimhen was valued a lot of money last season. If I told you never knew, let me bring you up to speed. He was valued at £130 million. Now, with the strikers available on the market that are really good number 9s, for example, Benjamin Šeško playing for RB Leipzig, there is Boyans playing for Shakhtar Donetsk. There is this other guy that scored Arsenal when they are playing RC Loans, there is Ivan Toney, there is Oli Watkins. All of those strikers don't exceed 70 or 80 million pounds. Why would Arsenal go and pay 130 million pounds for Victor Osimhen? Here they can get other players that are really less of a price than this guy. So that is one of the things that I don't really agree, as David Austin is. Arsenal are really looking at different strikers altogether. I know Victor Osimhen is a striker that everyone is looking at, but I think Arteta looks at so much more than what all of us are really looking at. Because in the summer, however much we are talking about them getting him in the summer, but in the summer, Arsenal have to get in a midfielder who is really world class. That is it. A world class midfielder is needed at Arsenal, because either Thomas Partey or either Thomas Partey or Jorginho is leaving, all two of them can leave because Jorginho is going to be a free agent and Barcelona is obviously offering him something different. So he might leave the club of Arsenal. So I don't see Arsenal spending that huge junk on the centre forward other than strengthening their other parts of the midfield. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Tell me your thoughts about Victor Osimhen to Arsenal in January. What do you think about it? Do you think the player is really near the club of Arsenal? Yes, all what are your thoughts about it? Because for me, I don't think in the January Arsenal should focus on the centre forward because they need more chemistry, especially when it comes to that right attacking side of the midfield where Saka plays, where Saka needs a competitor, as very many games are obviously going to be played by Arsenal and competition is obviously going to be huge. It's going to be alive and Arsenal need to do the needful. So guys, what are your thoughts about it? Do you think Ivan Toney, Victor Osimhen, Oli Watkins, what do you make about it? And lastly, would you swap Gabriel Jesus for Victor Osimhen? All that and more into the comment section below. Rokani David remains my name. First video of the day. More and more is coming in through. Thank God for the gift of life for the Muslims. Barak Laufikun. See you in the next 2 hours from now with more stories coming in from our news desk of the Rokani Media Football. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. See you when you see me. Ciao, ciao.